The world's most expensive air defense systems are being drained. Not by stealth fighters. Not by hypersonic missiles. By a drone made of foam and plywood that costs less than a used car. The Shahed-136 just fundamentally altered the economics of air defense in Ukraine, in the Gulf, and in every military planning room on the planet. World powers are scrambling to answer one question. Is this system truly forcing a rewrite of the tactical rulebook, or is the threat being overstated? Today on War Report we go through the data, the doctrine, and the uncomfortable answer military planners don't want to say out loud. It's easy to get lost in the noise of breaking headlines. So step back and look at the broader strategic picture. On February 28, 2026, Iran launched a mass drone and missile campaign against Gulf states. The UAE alone engaged over 304 ballistic missiles and more than 1,627 UAVs in the opening weeks of Operation Epic Fury. The response? Over 800 Patriot interceptors expended in 3 days. At $4.2 million per round, that is $3.36 billion in interceptors fired at drones built with car parts and commercial GPS receivers. This isn't just about one engagement. This is about the Shahed-136's ability to threaten something far more strategic than a single target: the economic viability of Western air defense at scale. If this system performs as the data shows, your understanding of defensive perimeter viability is officially obsolete. Let's look at the mechanics. The Shahed-136 is 3.5 meters long, carries a 2.5 meter wingspan, and weighs 200 kilograms. The warhead sits in the nose, 40 to 50 kilograms of high explosive. Russian Garin, 2 variants upgraded that to 90 kilograms post-2024. Range, 2,000 to 2,500 kilometers. Guidance: inertial navigation system combined with GLONASS satellite correction, with later variants incorporating Iran's domestic systems, specifically engineered to resist GPS denial environments. Top speed, 185 kilometers per hour. It is loud. It is slow. Ukrainians call it the flying moped because of the distinctive buzz of its MD-550 piston engine. And it still gets through. The intelligence gap isn't about whether they have the system, it's about the doctrine behind how they deploy it. The Shahed-136 was never designed to be invisible. It was designed to be overwhelming. Before we continue, understand what saturation warfare actually means in practice. During Russia's winter 2025 to 2026 campaign, nightly Shahed launch rates climbed from fewer than 50 per engagement in the early war to sustained rates exceeding 700 per night by late 2025. Over a 90-day window, Russia deployed roughly 19,000 attack drones at an average rate of 211 per day. Monthly production at the Alabuga Special Economic Zone in Tatarstan is now estimated at approximately 3,000 Shahed-class units. Total deployed by Russia in Ukraine since 2022. Over 57,000. When you look at the tactical movements in the Gulf theater, you see the same pattern. Iran's February 28 campaign wasn't designed to destroy every target. It was designed to exhaust, to drain, to force the defender to fire a $4.2 million Patriot round at a $35,000 drone again and again until the interceptor inventory runs dry. The drone doesn't need to hit a target to win. It needs to make you fire. That is the doctrine. That is the strategic logic that has forced a global rethink of air defense economics. Here is the math that is breaking defense budgets. Using air defense systems to intercept the Shahed-136 costs between 5 and 100 times more than firing the drone itself. Advanced Patriot PAC-3 interceptors cost approximately $4 million per missile compared to the $35,000 drone it is shooting down. Even an inexpensive Coyote interceptor runs $125,000 per shot. Iran can produce 200 Shahids per month at a total cost of $4 to $10 million. Intercepting those 200 Shahids with Patriot PAC-3 missiles costs the defender over $800 million. The UAE engagement figures from Operation Epic Fury drove this home. Over 800 Patriot interceptors expended in 3 days catalyzed an emergency $18.5 billion foreign military sales package approved on March 19, 2026. Where a single AGM-158 JSSM requires months of production lead time and costs $1.50 to $2.50 million per unit, a Shahed-136 can be produced in days using commercial off-the-shelf components. Automotive-grade GPS receivers, commercially available flight controllers, and simple stamped metal airframe components. This production elasticity, the ability to scale output faster than an adversary can scale interception capacity, is the entire strategic logic of Iran's one-way attack drone program. Whatever the actual damage from earlier strikes turned out to be, the threat that replaced it is more dangerous. The Shahed-238, first publicly acknowledged in 2023 and operationally deployed since late 2025, marks a generational leap. It replaces the Shahed-136's piston-driven propeller with a compact turbojet, enabling speeds of 500 to 600 km per hour versus the Shahed-136 185 km per hour cruise speed. Russia has taken that platform further. The Garin 3, 4, and 5 jet-powered variants fielded in 2025 and 2026 can outpace most current drone interceptors. The Garin 5, debuted in January 2026, has shed the original Delta Wing design entirely, embracing a conventional cruise missile configuration with a Chinese turbojet and reported air launch capability from Su-25 aircraft. On radar, these variants behave like cruise missiles. They fly at altitudes up to 9,000 meters well outside the reach of small arms or standard anti-drone weapons. Ukraine's entire counter-drone interceptor fleet, the Octopus, Sting, P-1 Sun, were built to engage the slow Shahed-136 at 185 km per hour. Against the Shahed-238 at 600 km per hour, their performance envelopes get dangerously tight. Every countermeasure Ukraine developed prompted Iran and Russia to field a harder, faster, and more capable variant in response. That adaptation cycle has not stopped. In December 2025, the United States military deployed its own response to the Shahed-136 problem. Not a counter to it, copy of it. The Lucas drone low-cost uncrewed combat attack system is a reverse-engineered clone of the Shahed-136, built by Arizona-based SpectreWorks at approximately $35,000 per unit. Wingspan, 2.4 meters. Range, 500 miles. Engine, a 215 cubic centimeters carbureted internal combustion engine. The U.S. military didn't respond to the Shahed-136 by building a more expensive, more sophisticated system. It responded by adopting the same doctrine: mass production, low-cost, one-way attack. CENTCOM has since announced that Lucas will receive AI swarming capability through the HiveMind program, allowing groups of drones to coordinate movements, maneuver collaboratively, and adapt to changing battlefield conditions autonomously. When the most advanced military in the world reverse engineers an adversary's $20,000 foam drone and deploys it in combat, that tells you everything about where the doctrine has settled. The pattern is now fully established. The Shahed-136 didn't win battles by being sophisticated. It won by being cheap enough to be infinite and expensive enough for the other side to defend against. Air defense as we knew it is now economically unsustainable at scale. The 12 to 18-month window before cost-parity countermeasures reach operational density, cheaper interceptor drones, directed energy weapons, AI-driven gun systems, is the period of greatest vulnerability for Gulf, European, and Indo-Pacific theaters. In January 2026 alone, Ukrainian forces shot down a record 1,704 Shahids. 70% of those kills were credited to interceptor drones costing roughly $2,500 each, not Patriot missiles. That adaptation is real and it matters. But the factories producing Shahids remain uncontested. And every innovation deployed against the current variant has prompted a faster, harder successor. Every adversary with a manufacturing base and a strategic grievance is studying Iran's playbook right now. North Korea. Non-state proxies across the Middle East. The Shahed-136 proved you don't need a fifth-generation aircraft to reshape a theater. You need volume, range, and a $20,000 price tag. The rules of engagement didn't just change. They were rewritten from the ground up. Subscribe to War Report for daily geopolitical analysis.